So welcome to T190, and this is sketching to scale. I'm going to use what's called an ergonome, and well, Leonardo da Vinci knew that the human body was in proportion to itself, so we're going to use those proportions. We're roughly 7 heads high, and we're roughly about 3 heads wide. Now the head is usually about sort of 200 to 250 millimeters, and it's about 200 millimeters wide. So we can use those dimensions to sort of establish some basic scale. So for example, your hip line is usually about 1 meter from the floor, and I can use that 1 meter distance to sort of establish the height of a bench or the height of a desk. And while I'm doing that, I'm starting to think about the shape of my shed, my workspace, and I like this idea of a sort of a curved roof. Now I'm using that 1 meter divided in half and then half again to get 750 millimeters. And you can see on the right hand side there that I used that scaling. I'm going to shrink this drawing down and look at where the head height's going to fall and look at the space I've got. So there's my bench again at 1 meter. And there's my curved roof. And I'm thinking, do you know, I like the idea of a living roof. I'm going to add these slopes in, create a slightly different shape. There's my window going in. I'm always trying to think about where the light's coming and where that's going to give me natural light from where I want to work. Now the workbench, like I say, it's about 1 meter high, so it's around the point of your hip as a natural measurement. And you'll see here that we sort of use that also to scale out the floor as well. So we get roughly these grid squares, and then we can map out a floor plan for the building or the space that we're trying to design. Again, I'm using that, dividing the meter up into two halves. Get the 500, add a little bit more to get 250. I'm going to sort of work out that bench space, see where the natural light, see where the door's going to go. I'm going to push the door to open outwards, I think, into a space like this. It's too small for a door to be opening inwards. And something that's always very important to me, a space for one of my dogs to come in when they want to have a little snooze. Now we've got that 1 meter square established now, so if we push that down we can actually look at a range of floor spaces. So I'm pushing that out a little bit and I'm going to look at a 3x4 grid. I'm going to use some just highlighters to create a little bit of thickness. Again, think about where the light's coming from, measuring out where my bench space is going to work. And looking at the natural light, I'm looking for somewhere to put, say for example, my laptop so that it falls not directly behind the light. Again, scaling out where the chair's going to go, thinking about storage, etc. And that gives me a sort of base floor plan for an idea. And we can take that now and we can sort of go back to the original design shape, that curved roof, and we can start coming up with a perspective to get a visualization of what it's actually going to look like. So here we're using some very thin line to start sketching out. Rather than using a rubber, just go with a thin line and then just go thicker. And then what we're going to do is add in a little bit of colour, use those highlighters again, and use thin line and then thick line to establish your design, then a little bit of rendering, colour, coloured pencil, shading to start to establish some form. So there's the window going in, there's a bit of shading to give the colour of the building, and then I'm going to create some texture by adding some thin lines to give the idea of wooden planks, little bits of division in there, and the same on the inside. There's the floor going in, wooden panels on the back, a little bit of floor texture, and that's how we use that scale ergonome to work our way from 3D into 2D, back into 3D again. I hope you found that useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.